Here we are again, guys. Here we are. The third film of the Captain America film in the MCU in this trilogy, or now quadrilogy, since Brave New World is set to release this Friday coming up, which I'm definitely looking forward to. I'm definitely hearing a lot of mixed things, but again, I'm going to save it for my review when I get a chance to see it. So, Captain America Civil War is directed by, once again, by the Russo brothers, Anthony and Joe Russo, and it stars Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Sebastian Stan, Renner, Cheadle, Anthony Mackie, Bettany, Elizabeth Olsen, Tom Holland, and Daniel Brühl and William Hurt. In Captain America Civil War, the disagreement over some kind of international government agreements by the Sokovia Accords, the Avengers are fractioned into two teams, one led by Steve Rogers and the other Tony Stark, Iron Man. So this film came out around about nearly 9 years ago. It came out in 2016, so next year will be 10 years. God, that's a long, long time. But yes, Captain America Civil War, after the success of Winter Soldier, there's a lot of hype surrounding this movie. There's a lot of hype because we have Captain America and Iron Man in the same room, go against each other with all these other Avengers characters, and of course, two new additions to the roster of the MCU, Black Panther, played by Chadwick Boseman, and of course, Tom Holland's Peter Parker, Spider-Man. So, there's a lot of hype surrounding this movie. There's a lot of hype, and there's a lot of anticipation for this movie. And of course, it came out the same year as Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, which came out 2 months before this, so we all know who the real winner is. Yep, you guessed it, you looked at the poster, that's the real winner of 2016 in terms of superhero films. But again, I'll say my thoughts on Batman v Superman maybe later on the time I will talk about that, because I've got some things to say about that movie. Just you wait and see. But, I just rewatched this again, and honestly, it still holds up very well after all these years. This is still one of the best MCU films, probably the best Captain America trilogy, up there with The Winter Soldier. I think this or that is one of the better ones from that trilogy. It's kind of debatable, you can pick one, what's your favourite, but for me, this one's my favourite out of the whole bunch. I know some prefer Winter Soldier, but for me, I always love Civil War. I always have a soft spot for it. I don't know why it's my favourite, because I don't know if it's the story, or it's the characters, or some of the set pieces are really entertaining. It has that good sense of themes into the story. I think I really like the themes of the film. I think it's all about, which side are you on? It's kind of like what we saw today with the Democrats or the Republicans, or what we kind of saw back in the past Civil War, which now we had to kind of like see what would have been decided for America for design. Basically it's like that type of stuff going on, but I really like the story it's going for. It's based on the Marvel comics of the same name called Civil War. Some people say this should have been like Avengers film, which it could have been Avengers type of movie for like this, like Civil War, but I think it works for a Captain America story. It is a Captain America film, and his story, his character, but it does have like Avengers 2.0 going on, but it doesn't feel that way. It still centers around Captain America and Bucky's, Captain America's trying to protect Bucky from Tony Stark, because the whole thing that happened in Germany with the bombings, which I'll get to say this now, the performance all around is great. I think everyone does their job here. Chris Evans is great as always, and Robert Downey Jr., great as always. Both of them are terrific. Both are excellent here. They give one of the best performances I've seen in the MCU. It's definitely great. It's definitely one of the best performances I've seen from both these characters. Both of them have really engaging performances. You can feel they're starting to tear apart when the Sokovia Accords happens after the battle damage in Largo's in the opening scene, which the opening scene of the film is, terrific. It has a great action scene, it has a great opening introduction to the characters, see what they've been up to, and see them forming a team. But it's not till that something happens, because led by Crossbones, who's holding a suicide bomb, is going to basically blow up him and Captain America, taking suicide with him along with Cap as well. But Scarlet Witch, played by Elizabeth Olsen, lift her, take the nieces up to the sky, and of course caused an explosion. And of course we all know the bullet got exploded, along with half the people got killed or injured. So basically that's where the government says, okay, you guys are taking so much damage, we need to put you guys in check, keep you guys somewhat in control of what you're doing. So basically, it's basically about freedom of choices, but it's all about choices to make, And of course, the line delivery that Captain America made from Tony start with the whole disagreement with the Sokovia courts, like saying, Tony, you chose to do that. If we sign this now, we have no right order to choose. So it's kind of like, basically what Cap's trying to say is like, we have no freedom of choice what we want to make. And because it's about, this film, it has a lot of stuff with the dialogue. The dialogue here is absolutely terrific. I think some of the dialogue they wrote by Christopher Markus and Stephen McFeely, great writers. They know how to write a good story. And the dialogue for these characters are amazing. So everything about this film just works, the balance of one another. And of course, some of these characters have their own time to shine. You didn't just force them in there just to be there. It felt natural to the story. They have the purpose, especially Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa, as Black Panther. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. His performance here is great. It's a great introduction to the character, and you see his father being killed by Baron Zemo, who is pretending to be Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. The moment he sees his dad died, it's shocking. He wants revenge. He wants vengeance. He wants to, stop Bucky, take him away or end up killing him. And of course, you start to see his character grow a little bit more. It has quite some development to him, especially towards the end when you find out that Baron Zemo is behind this the whole entire time. And he's about to kill him, and then of course he realizes that, vengeance has consumed you. They consumed them, but they won't let me consume me. So it's basically he's now realizing he's becoming a killer. He doesn't want to take vengeance, for what he's doing, what he's about to do. So he decides to don't let his vengeance get to him. So I like that arc he's going through, the kind of vengeance arc towards him. So that's why he joins Tony Stark's team, but realizing that he's facing the wrong enemy. So I think that's a really good arc for him. And of course, Scarlet Witch, played by Elizabeth Olsen, after what she did, she felt the guilt and she feels like she's not safe from everyone. And of course, we do have some great character moments with her, and of course, her romantic relationship with Vision, played by Paul Bettany, who's, great set of characters. They both are romantic for one another. Of course, there's a little tease at the end of Age of Ultron, and her romance are basically the strongest point. I really like how the romance went. It's just everything about that. It just works so well. And of course, we do have, so basically Vision is guarding Scarlet Witch because he doesn't want her out in public because all the stuff she did in Lagos, because how dangerous she can be. It's not till Clint Barton came along, trying to recruit her to help out Steve and Bucky and Sam Wilson, played by Anthony Mackie, trying to get into the Germany to help out and try to, just get to their next point. And of course, Clint gave her the advice, especially we saw in Age of Ultron. It's a similar thing here, but it's basically said if you go out there, you are an Avenger. And of course, that's basically the same line, but the difference is he just basically says, it's time to get off your ass type of thing. So basically, when Vision does try to stop Clint from taking Wanda, and Wanda decides to go, you know what, I had enough, let me go, and let Clint go, I'm leaving. And basically, he just left, which is a great moment. I think that's a great, definitely a great character movement for her. She's not one of the most developed characters, but as the series goes on, especially in the multiverse saga, she became a more relevant character, especially in post-Infinity Saga. So that's a good thing. And of course, speaking of different characters, we do have William Hurt returning as Thaddeus Ross, who's now a secretary of the United States, and which is basically it's nice to see Thaddeus Ross return after seeing him since Incredible Hulk. Now he's came back here, and of course he appeared in Infinity War and Endgame for a minor role, and of course he also appeared in Black Widow, and now he's been recast with Harrison Ford in Brave New World. So it's kind of different to see a different actor playing the character that was originally played by a different actor. It's kind of similar thing to Edward Norton in Incredible Hulk from Mark Ruffalo, and of course Terrence Howard for Cheadle for Iron Man. So it's basically the same thing. It's going to be recast here and there, but that's a whole other thing, discussion. His character is there. He's basically tried to put the Avengers in the Sokovia Accords, but then of course there's going to be some disagreements here and there. So he's not really much to his character, but he's just tried to get started to find Steve Rogers and his team to, take him in custody until they come to an agreement as the Sokovia Accords. And of course we do have other characters, prime examples, Rhodey, Black Widow. All these characters have their moments to shine, even though they don't get much development, but they do have their moments to shine, especially in the airport scene. And I do really like Black Widow's character, played by Scarlett Johansson, as always. Great. her character, definitely, she's a bit more supportive on Steve's side than Tony's, even though she's on Tony's side for the majority of the film. But when it comes to the climax, it's basically, she finds out that she's just helping Steve the whole entire time. And basically, she's basically zapped with T'Challa with their, electric shocks. And of course, while Steve and Bucky's away, that's basically Black Widow on the run. So we definitely see her character where she was now before Infinity War, which is the Black Widow movie, which I will talk about the Black Widow film before the Thunderbolts movie comes out, so keep an eye out for that. And of course, we have Paul Rudd returning as Scott Lang as Ant-Man after making an appearance in his solo film just a year before this. And of course, see the post-credits scene with Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson talk to Cap saying he knows a guy, which is a little tease that Scott Lang will appear in this film. He does have his moments, especially Tom's Giant Man. Oh man, that was so cool. I was so jaw-dropping. Even Spider-Man's reaction was like, holy shit. That had me laughing, which now we're getting to the edible point. Let's talk about Tom Holland, who plays Peter Parker, Spider-Man in the MCU. This is around time where Disney and Marvel Studios have made an agreement with Sony Pictures to share the Spider-Man rights. They're getting the full rights back. They kind of share the deal, even though Sony is still trying to compete with Marvel with their shared universe, which we all know how that turned out. But anyway, that's the size of the point. But Tom Holland, great actor he is, a really great young actor. What he has done, and for what he has done here, he's definitely given a good performance, especially has that talk with Tony Stark with the whole, when he's got bitten by a spider, that he's different. And of course, I think it's in the line of dialogue where he says, when the bad things happen, they happen because of you. So basically, he's kind of saying something bad happened and it's all because of him. So it's kind of like, did you mention about Uncle Ben to a certain degree? I think there is a little hint, even though he didn't reference Uncle Ben throughout most of his MCU solo films, but again, I know there were hints, but still, it could have maybe acknowledged his Uncle Ben, but that's a whole other thing for another time. I will get to that maybe later on the line. But his performance is great, and you do see him in the more classic Spider-Man costume with the eyes moving, and of course the classic red back spider symbol. He does have some great moments, some funny scenes, especially when he fights with Bucky and Sam, especially when he grabs Bucky's metal arm. He goes, "You have a metal arm? That's awesome, dude." It's just so many great scenes, so many iconic moments from this character. And of course, we do have the airport scene, it's definitely has some great action set pieces in the film. The airport scene is probably the highlight. It's probably the most rewatchable scenes, either on rewatches or watch it on YouTube. It's probably the most rewatchable scene. And honestly, I found this fight more entertaining than Batman v Superman's fight, which, yep, I said it. Hate me all you want. You can hate me later in the comments. But we do have some great action scenes moments. And of course, the climax of the movie is when they confronted with Baron Zemo playing Daniel Brühl. And of course, Baron Zemo shows Tony and Cap what happened on the 16th of December 1991, especially Bucky killed, spoiler alert, I wish I could have said, Bucky kills Howard and Maria Stark. Even though some people say it kind of predictable, but I kind of like that way because for the trailers and the marketing, it thinks that Tony's mad at Cap because Rhodey was injured and got killed. But no, it wasn't that. It's because Tony finds out that Steve knows about Bucky killed Tony's parents. And of course, Tony gets upset. He gets a full-on rage on him. And of course, Tony starts about to go for the kill on Bucky or wants to take revenge. And Cap's trying to stop him. And of course, it's a emotional impact of the film is Tony and Cap's relationship, how they were. Ever since the first Avengers, you knew there's bad attentions between them. There's a lot of attentions, there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of things going on between them. There's a lot of hatred towards each other, a lot of back and forth disagreements. But even though they do have their moments, they do care for one another, there's a lot of bad blood between them. And of course, when Cap's about to whack the shield about to kill him. Kind of similar to John Walker from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where he picks on the shield and he's about to stab him through the arm reactor. But the difference is, he didn't kill him, he just kept it there. And of course, Troy says, "My father made that shield." So basically, Cap drops the shield and takes Bucky with him into hiding. So basically everything doesn't end well. And of course, Tony got a mailbox from the cameo from Stan Lee, which the cameo of Stan Lee was just so good. I really love that scene. Are you Tony Stank? Which is so funny. Rest in peace, Stan Lee. Which, oh god, I got to mention Baron Zemo. Baron Zemo, played by Daniel Brühl, his performance was really good. I think he's one of the most underrated, underappreciated Marvel villains. His motivations here is very clear. He wants to take on the Avengers. Instead of fighting them, he wants to divide them apart. And that's why this is basically them in separate, divided we stand, divided we fall. So basically it means that both factions of the Avengers are torn apart. So that's why they tried to break the Avengers apart, is trying to fight from the inside. So basically that's kind of like Ultron said, we're going to tear them apart with the inside. So basically Danny Brühl wants to, basically what Baron Zemo wants is to tear them apart. Just basically everything about this film works so well. It has a great story, the villain, the characters, everything about this film just works so well. The cinematography wise is great, and the action scenes are terrific. Everything is just action packed. A lot of MCU humor. Some of the humor doesn't work, but for the majority of it, I think this humor works very well. It's got really clever writing. It's just everything about this film, it's written so well with the humor, the tone, just the action scenes, the characters, the motivations. Just this movie just delivers really good high stakes action. This is the film that many Marvel fans need to definitely check this one out. This film delivers. And of course, we do have the ending where Tony got a mail from Steve by saying, look, I'm sorry I've lied to you, that I kept knowing that Bucky killed your parents, and I'm sorry. Kind of like he's betrayed him, but he's betrayed himself. And of course, he did say, if you need me, call me, I'll be there. So basically means, whenever you need me, I will be there. So basically that's what's going to happen in Infinity War, which kind of did happen, but didn't really happen. And of course, we've got two mid-credit scenes. One mid-credit scene is basically Bucky's in hiding in Wakanda by T'Challa, which is a great, definitely T'Challa and Cap work something out. And of course, he's made a good bonds with Bucky. And of course, we have another mid-credits or post-credits scene with Peter Parker in his room with the new spider signal, which is lights up the sky, let his crime know. And of course, Aunt May comes in, Peter's trying to hide from her, which, I'm going to say this now, Marisa Tomei is Aunt May. She's not in the movie that much, but she has her moments. I know her character in the Solo Films, maybe except for No Way Home. I think No Way Home, she did it a lot better. I think Homecoming, actually, Homecoming wasn't too bad. It's just Far From Home. She's just come across as hot Aunt May because everyone's making fun of her because of how hot she is, which is kind of a bit sexist in my opinion. But again, she's there for a good purpose, for a good reason. But as far as the overall Captain America Civil War film, I think this is my personal favourite. And honestly, I would watch this any time of day over Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. I will talk about that someday soon. I will talk about it soon enough. Captain America Civil War gets an A+. And of course, guys, comment down below and tell me, what do you think of Captain America Civil War? Do you love it? Do you like it? Do you think it's alright? Do you hate it? Comment down below and tell me what you think. And of course, are you Team Cap or Team Iron Man? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Until next time, see ya.